Welcome to this exciting walk around video. I have got a 2020 in the Pearl Storm Gray Z125 Pro here at Northeast Georgia Motorsports. Let's talk about it. I feel like when the Grom first came out in 2014, mini bikes have been the biggest buzz, but now I feel like that buzz is wore off and the mini bike market has gotten kind of stale, but Kawasaki is always making a better looking mini bike each and every year. I love this color scheme. It's like a flat gray, but it's gloss and it's got a nice little metallic to it. And with it only being 3,200 bucks, cheaper than the Honda Grom, same cc size, same 4-speed transmission, same 12-inch tires, almost the same top speed, you cannot go wrong with saving a little bit of money and then investing into some aftermarket parts for this bike. Kawasaki is also running, if you buy a new Z125 Pro from the dealer, you actually get a free graphics kit from Decor, and you can make this bike a little more personable, a little more customizable, and the graphics kit, you can customize it, which is really, really cool. Top speed on these bikes, we're talking a max of, I believe it's 67 for this bike when I could top out my Z125. Again, I own both. I own the Honda Grom and the Z125. Sold the Grom a little while back. My Z125 full race kit, 143cc big bore. You've got Olin suspension. You've got a bigger intake, bigger throttle body, custom exhaust from Dingerbilt. There's no limit to what you can do to these bikes. You can actually put the same amount of money that this bike cost into upgrades, and that just goes to show you that's pretty wild, but yet it's easy to work on. It's a great bike to learn how to work on. You're not really going to mess up too much or break something. And speaking of, if you drop these bikes, you just pick them back up with one hand and you keep going. If your girlfriend or wife or even yourself is looking at getting a little bike that's not intimidating, that's not as big as a Ninja or Z400, this is the bike for you. You're talking just no intimidation factor whatsoever. This bike weighs only 225 pounds. That's nothing. You've got a seat height of almost 32 inches, but you know, the rear sets, they're a little higher, you know, than the Grom. It's a nice rider's position. I know when you look at other bikes, you're like, wow, this big bike only has a seat height of 30 inches, 30 and a half. And you're like, why is this thing so tall? But again, it's more flat. It's kind of like getting on a dirt bike. But again, the seat isn't very wide. It's actually fairly narrow. I'll show you real quick. So it's not too hard to actually get both feet down. And with the bike being lighter than, you know, your 400s or so, it's easily manageable to leave one foot on the peg, put your other foot down, and easily balance this bike. Fuel capacity is 2 gallons. I've never ran my Z125 out to put 2 gallons in it. I always put 1.5 gallons, 1.8 gallons or so. But the gas mileage on this thing is about 1,000 miles per gallon. No, I'm just kidding, guys. It's, you know, you can easily get 70 to 100 miles a gallon on this thing, which is really wild. You've got sporty inverted forks for this bike. It is overkill. I mean, it's just a ton of suspension for a little bitty bike. The rear suspension, it's got a preload adjuster, so you can, you know, you can stiffen it up a little bit if you're, you know, a bigger person. You know, you're kind of adult size like me, you know, and you got to have a little bit stiffer shock. But it's so much for this bike, but it's so inexpensive, you just can't go wrong with it regardless. You do, however, still have a halogen headlight. I'm not a real big fan of that because Honda has recently updated to the LED in their SF model. I say recently, that bike's been out for a while. The new 2021 models are out. I'm not too big on the color schemes of those. They do look like their bigger brother Z lineup, and that's cool. You know, similarities, you kind of have the whole family line going, but this gray is just gorgeous. Modifications for this bike are fairly inexpensive. TST Industries, man in the box, they have a ton of aftermarket parts for this bike, and when this bike first came out, everyone said, oh, the Z125, it doesn't have that aftermarket support, there's not as many parts. Well, sure, the Grom is still beating the Z in aftermarket support just because it's been out longer, but you can get anything you want for this bike now that's on the market, aftermarket, and it's not expensive at all. I hope you enjoyed this walk around video of this 2020 Z125 Pro in the gray, which is, I would love to have another one and make it into a stunt bike. Maybe that should be a new build series I have. Maybe NGM and I should team up on something like that. But let me know what you guys think about this bike below. If you have any specific questions about this bike compared to the Grom, leave them down in the comments below. I own both. I have a pretty good idea of the differences. To me, it came down to rider preference on the Z. I love how it rode. It fit my riding style when I rode this thing really aggressive, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to race these bikes, and the Z was the way to go. So guys, thanks again for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. Until next time, ride safe, have fun, and we'll see you on the next one.